The low tonight is 34 degrees and snow is in our forecast. I'll have full weather updates for you later on in the 6 o'clock report.
Now, WVTT Global News Update.
A new report by Amnesty International says Nigeria's government should do more to protect its people from the Islamist militant group Boko Haram. Boko Haram has waged a terrorist campaign in Nigeria for years. It's blamed for killing hundreds in frequent attacks on churches and schools. From Nigeria, CNN's Vladimir Duthiers reports.
A new report released Thursday by Amnesty International is calling on the Nigerian government to ensure the protection of its people living under the threat of attack from the Islamist group Boko Haram. The group, whose name means Western education is sacrilege, is blamed for killing more than 500 people in bombings and suicide attacks this year alone. But the report, titled Nigeria, Trapped in a Cycle of Violence, also faults the Nigerian government's failure to protect the population and says the country's security forces have, quote, perpetrated serious human rights violations in their response. And it goes on to say that the cycle of attacks and counterattacks has been marked by unlawful violence on both sides with devastating consequences for the human rights of its people. Amnesty International says that it's calling on Boko Haram to stop the violence, and it also lays out recommendations for the Nigerian government to ensure that its people are protected from acts of terror by Boko Haram or any non-state actors, and that the rights of its citizens are not violated just in the name of national security. Vladimir Duthiers, CNN, Lagos, Nigeria.
Residents along the East Coast are beginning the long road to recovery in the wake of Superstorm Sandy. Renee Marsh is in hard-hit Hoboken, New Jersey, with a look at cleanup efforts.
It's been 3 days since Superstorm Sandy bore down on the East Coast, but recovery is just beginning. Governor Chris Christie of hard-hit New Jersey is asking for patience.
I'm not paid to have patience. I'm paid to get things done for all of you. But I need you to have patience as I'm trying to get all these things done. Christie
accompanied President Obama on a tour of storm damage yesterday. The president said Americans go through tough times, but always bounce back.
So my commitment to the people on this block, the people of this community, and the people of this state is that same spirit will carry over all the way through until our work is done.
In New York, limited subway service is beginning today. With flooded tunnels and packed buses, many commuters have been forced to walk or bike into Manhattan.
We're going to get where we're going and then take it one step at a time and figure it out.
Governor Cuomo declared a transportation emergency, waiving fees on mass transit until the end of the week. The storm damage was so extensive at New York's Bellevue Hospital that it had to be shut down, with National Guard troops evacuating patients. 10,000 Army, Air, and National Guard troops have been put on duty in 13 states. Those left with waterlogged homes and damaged businesses across the eastern seaboard say they're getting through day by day.
I think I'm in survival mode, so I'm just going. I'm just doing one step at a time.
Well, if you pass by any gas station in the area, the lines are unbelievably long, people waiting hours to fuel up, and traffic around this region is a nightmare. And because of that, New York's mayor saying that if people are trying to get into Manhattan, they have to carpool during certain hours. Reporting in Hoboken, New Jersey, I'm Renee Marsh.
Well, children seem to go from one illness to the next, but is it allergies or just a cold? In today's Health Minute, Susan Hendricks checks in with a pediatrician to help us distinguish between the two.
You can blow. Children spend a lot of time sniffling and sneezing this time of year, making it hard for parents to figure out if it's a cold or an allergy.
Runny noses and sneezing are common to both colds and allergies.
But there are some distinct differences between the two conditions.
Allergies can also have itching, itchy or watery eyes, itchy nose, itchy throat, and those tend to be hallmarks of allergic reactions.
You don't see much itching with colds, but colds have a few symptoms that set them apart from allergies, and one of those is fever. Children with a cold may develop an elevated temperature, but that is not the case with allergies. Youngsters often complain about a sore throat with a cold, something less common with allergies. Also, colds tend to run their course within a week or 2 weeks, whereas allergies can last much longer.
If you see a child who has symptoms typically every fall or every spring, lasting for more than a couple weeks, that's probably an allergy.
And if your child's symptoms have you concerned, as always, check with your pediatrician. For today's Health Minute, I'm Susan Hendricks.
Sports and weather are next. Don't go anywhere. This is the 6 o'clock report on News Channel 25 WVTT.